Two fractions are equivalent if they represent the same quantity. So the amount of a circle shaded for 2/3 is the same amount shaded for 4/6, is the same amount shaded for 6/9, is the same amount shaded for 8/12. And if we look at it, so there's 2/3 and 8/12. We can also look at it in terms of a line. The amount shaded between 0 and 1 is the same for 2/3 as it is for 8/12. So those two fractions are considered to be equivalent. One way to test for equivalent fractions is to write each fraction in simplest terms. A fraction is in simplest form when its numerator and denominator have no common factors other than 1. So if I start with the 2/4 here, if I want to compare 2/4, 3/15, and 20/70, 2/4, the 2 and the 4 are both even numbers, so I can divide by 2, and I end up with 1/2. Likewise, 3/15, I can divide the top and bottom by 3, and I end up with 1/5. 20/70 becomes 2/7. So the simplest forms of these are 1/2, 1/5, and 2/7. These are different fractions, so they are not equivalent. So the test for equivalent fractions. Let a and b over b and c over d be two fractions, and assume the denominators are not 0. The idea is write each fraction in simplest form. If the two simplified fractions are the same, then the original two fractions are also equivalent. So let's start with 15/36 and 25/60. So 15 over 36, both of those numbers are divisible by 3. So let's divide by 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 36 divided by 3 is 12. So that's 5/12. 25 over 60, those are both divisible by 5. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 60 divided by 5 is 12. And we see that we have the same fraction for both, so these are equivalent. Hi, so how many different fractions are in this list? So let's just go ahead and simplify everything, write them in the simplest form as much as possible, and see how many different simplified fractions we have. 2/5 is already simplified, as is 7/4. So those are different, so we have at least two different fractions. 28/16, those are both divisible by 4, and that becomes 7/4. So that matches the 7/4 we already have. 40 over 100, I can get rid of that the 0 and the 1, so divide by 10, I get 4/10. Divide by 2, I get 2/5. So that matches the 2/5 on the left side. So 35 over 20, both of those are divisible by 5. That'll be 7 over 4. So the terms of the fractions, they reduce to 2/5 or 7/4. So there are two different fractions.